Welcome back to Morning Express. It's time for us now to focus on your money. I'll start first of all by introducing our guest this morning who is here to, well, have that discussion. And it's Waithaka Gatumia from Centonomy. Good morning and thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Mike. Thank you for having me again.
Okay. And today we're going to be looking at how much influence your friends have over the decisions you make when it comes to money. And sometimes that influence is not based on what they say, but sometimes what they project and what you imagine that they have, and then you want to copy. But before we do that, let's first of all just hear what the word on the street was in regards to that effect. Some of the question we asked is, how much influence do people have over the decisions you make on your money? Let's hear what some of your fellow Kenyans had to say.
Personally, I'm not influenced by my friends because according to my accountability, hakuna venye nitarely on marafiki. Juu ukihesabu ni marafiki ambao wanaweza kusaidia at the end of the day si wengi. So kuna yule mmoja mwenye anaweza kusaidia, but ukisema ni marafiki hakuna siku atai kusaidia. So unajipanga wewe mwenyewe. Kama mimi hujipanga mimi mwenyewe, like najua hivi ndio nafaa kufanya, or what am I supposed to do with my money at the end of the month. This is what I'm supposed to do, my bills and stuff. I don't include my friends.
I will not invest in any business being told by somebody that there is a business somewhere we can start, or we can do partnership. No. The best thing I can do is go there, see the guy, talk to him, see the flow of goods and services in that location, and also assess the profitability of it. There was a guy who told me to venture into chicken farming. And after some time, when I assessed the profitability of it, it was not bringing the best returns I was expecting. At the end of the day, I lost 50,000 Kenya shilling. Yeah.
Sipati financial advice sana, kwa maana nikiwa na pesa hapo inapata matumizi. Siku hizi pesa ukipata kuitumia kwa advice kwa mtu mwingine, hata unapata ule mwingine ameshindwa, pengine anakuambia uende na wewe ushindwe. Mimi nafuata yangu. Siwezi kubali advice ya mtu sababu talent yako iko kwa kazi yako. Haiwezi kuwa kwa ule mwingine.
I think there is nobody who has the influence of how I will perform and how I will use my money. I don't give them a chance to determine for me how I will use the money, because it might mislead me and I'm the one who will suffer. So any business, nobody should tell me how to do it.
All right, so that's what Kenyans had to say. Waithaka, just first of all, bringing ourselves to remember what we talked about last week, because we're talking about leveraging on the network that we have. That could be friends, could be family, could be whoever. But again, now looking at influence, is there a difference?
I think there's a difference, and I think these examples are brilliant, that often we will be quick to rely on our insight, on our own point of view and all those various things. I completely agree with them. On the overt thing, we were laughing together just a moment ago and we were saying everybody went into quail farming when it was the fad, wasn't it? And if you go into such things like that, then you find yourself in trouble. And I think most Kenyans have found themselves working around that issue and not necessarily just jumping in because everyone else is. But I believe when we're talking about this issue, it's a little bit more subtle. We're talking about the fact that I've known you for a couple of years.
Right.
And so when you get ahead and let's say you start driving a different car, suddenly I feel that pressure. It's not you who came and told me you need to own this car, you need to be able to live in this area, whatever. You've not said it.
Right.
But the fact that you're doing it
already puts you under pressure.
A little bit of pressure. I feel like I should be, I should be at the same level as Mike. But when we're having this discussion, especially around money, I know we're two middle-aged men trying to be youthful now and say, let me say this, you do you. I think that's what the youth are saying now.
Yeah, that's a current. Although that could mean many things, but
maybe
you can explain it what you mean financially.
Financially, you do you. Because I have no idea what you've had to do to get to where you are, Mike. I have no idea how much work you've put in, what kind of deals that you've gotten, how long you've been working on these various deals and the businesses and the work that you've been doing. And so when I come and see you now at that success stage, when now you're driving the car that you want to drive, I can see you now have 2 phones versus my 1 phone there. Let me just put them there so that people can see.
Like that, I'm going to move this one away.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You see, that's the thing, that Mike has put those 2 phones there. And
So
then mine is
want-
there. Now I feel there's pressure. There's pressure. I should have another one, or you know what I mean. That's the kind of influence that we have. And so when I say it's more subtle than that, that's what people are finding themselves in. I wish I was there. I think one of the things that I found to be where I found the most pressure is when I went for a high school reunion. This is
Oh, yes. Those have a way of bringing pressure on you.
exactly. So you come into a room with people where you, at one stage, were all
At
similar,
par.
at par, because you are in the same class.
Right.
But after that, you have no idea what this person has had to do to get to the place that they are. The amount of work that they've had to put into their life to get to the place that they were, and the opportunities that have offered to them.
And I think it's also important to address, Waithaka, the fact that sometimes it's not as good as it looks.
Yeah.
I may be driving that car, I may be having those number of phones, I may be living in that area that everybody wants to live, or whoever, but the truth of the matter is you also don't know the price I'm paying behind the scenes to try and maintain that lifestyle.
I assure you that is exactly the point. You've got it right, Mike. The problem is that I look at you and I think, hey, Mike has done so well. I have no clue whether you've worked for it or you've taken loans to pay for every single thing. And if you've taken loans to pay for every single thing, then you're in debt and you're under pressure to be able to maintain that lifestyle. And in fact, that's the whole point of wealth creation, is that you need to be alert to what your journey is and not what anybody else is. Because that success that you're talking about could just be one deal away. It could be one step away. It could be one month, 1 year away, and all you have to do is push through. But if you're so busy looking around at everybody else, what are they doing? Is there quail farming happening here? Why is Mike driving that car? Why has he moved to this place? Don't worry about what somebody else is doing. Focus on
Chart
your
own
journey.
way. Now, how do you go about focusing and charting your own journey? Because let's agree that, humanly speaking, it is always a natural thing to compare.
That is true. And I'm not saying that I can look at my brother and say, I would like to be, if I want to be like you, that's
aspire.
great. I can aspire, but don't be envious. And also don't try and jump the stages to get to that point. Here's what we say when we're teaching at Centonomy. A vision is great. But unless you have then goals and actions associated with that vision, then it's useless. It's just a slogan at that point. So what you want is to have a vision. That's a beautiful life. I want to be like Mike, have 2 phones, the suit, the flower here. I want that for my life. That's a good vision. Now, what is a goal? I'm saying that I want to do so within the next 5 years. What is that going to take? It means that I need to increase my sources of income. I need to be able to start a business somewhere. Those are now action points. Action points plus timelines. That's what I'm talking about. So that it's now no longer just a vision, just a beautiful idea. You've now made it into a goal because you have said, this is what I want to achieve, and within a certain period of time. After that, now I put it into action now. I'm now going to go step by step and say, within these 5 years, I'm going to start off now by figuring out, let me study what Michael is doing, my successful brother. What has he been doing in his life that has gotten him to that place? Can I do some of the same things? If not, what else can I do with the talents and gifts that I have?
All right, now there is an importance, I guess, and I want to hear what your take is on this in regards to writing down a vision. Even the Bible tells us, write down your vision. How important is it to have that vision so that you have a place that you're going?
It's vital, and I think it's so important in all areas of life. And sometimes it's not. I've found that a picture speaks a thousand words. And so I've found that if for us, a vision is simply saying, this is the type of house that I'd like to have. So you cut out a picture from a magazine and put it on a vision board. Then you say, I want my children to go to university. So I have lots of pictures of graduations. I put it up on that vision board. I would like to travel the world. I've only seen a couple of cities in this world. I'd like to go to the Far East. I'd like to go to South America. I've never been there. Cut out pictures of those wonderful places and put it on that board. I've found that to be the most useful thing, because you see the thing that you want to live out. You see the role that you want to live out. And I found that to be extremely, extremely useful in getting to that vision. But you see, that's my vision. You get, it's not the same as yours.
Correct.
And the thing about it is we find ourselves, oh, Mike has moved and he's now he's having 2 phones. Now I want 2 phones. Why? Do I know why you have 2 phones? Maybe it's because you have a different business that you're running on the side. Maybe it's because you're trying to manage 2 things at the same time. Why do I need 2? I don't need them. I'm surviving with my 1. But I look at you and then I think, I would like. Versus understanding what is my purpose, what is my dream, and we're being subtly influenced by all the things that are around us.
Maybe to deal with the root cause, what is it that causes us to want to do that thing without necessarily interrogating why? If you wear a certain shoe, I want to wear that shoe without necessarily knowing, or even maybe it was given as a gift, but here I am pressuring myself to buy it because Waithaka has it.
Wow, Mike, you're asking me deep psychological questions now. I wish I was a psychiatrist or a psychologist
and it will help
to
us
be able
understand
to
why we have some of these financial habits.
You see, the thing is, Michael, I'm speaking from the point of view of my own experience, that I have seen myself viewing things going. If my brother, for instance, moves to a new estate, a new place, then I'm like, I wish I was there. I don't know what he has had to do to get to that place. But I think it's just a human condition that we're constantly looking around in order to be able to get to the place that somebody else is at. What I'm talking about as far as your financial journey is concerned is be aware of it. That's the first thing. Awareness is important because if you catch yourself and be able to say, why do I need 2 phones? Do you get what I mean? If you can catch yourself and be able to say, maybe I actually do, and it'll take this to get to that point, or I just want it because I see somebody else having it. If you can be able to be aware of yourself, self-awareness is what's going to be able to stop you from making some of these poor decisions. But Michael, you asked me a deep psychology. I wish I could tell you why human beings are the way.
Why human beings behave the way they do.
But we do.
We do. But still focusing on the fact that our peers do have influence over the financial decisions we make. I've read a book and I would like to hear what your comments are. It's called The Millionaire Next Door. And what this guy describes is the guy who's living next to a millionaire. But this millionaire, as he comes out of the house, he's wearing a certain suit. So you automatically assume that it's a designer suit.
Yes.
So you want to wear one.
Yeah.
When this millionaire comes out of the house, he's wearing a designer shoe in your mind. But when you look at the actual habits of millionaires, rarely do they wear those designer suits? Rarely do they wear those designer shoes.
Yes.
Is that something that maybe we should be aware of?
You have to be aware of it. As I said, unless you are inside that person's house to know what they are doing and what's going on, you have no clue. So all these things are in your mind. You're making decisions based on what you're projecting onto somebody else. You're projecting onto them wealth, you're projecting onto them success, you're projecting onto them luxury and excess. Whereas the truth of wealth creation, I think I told this story earlier, and I think I'll tell it one more time. One of the wealthy billionaires in Nairobi was taking his team out, one of the new team members around, and he was taking them out to a cup of tea. And they were expecting, hey, this is a billionaire, so he's going to buy us lunch, he's going to take care of everything. And one of the older staff members stopped them and said, hey, excuse me, we have been brought out for tea. Order tea. Because if you order anything more than tea, you'll pay for it yourself. You think it's coming out of your pocket. This is the point that you have to learn, is that most wealthy people are very careful with how they spend their money. They're alert to where things are going, and they're not being influenced by what everybody else is going through. They're living their journey. And then they're able to spend on the things that matter to them. So you're busy thinking, ooh, now they're wearing a designer suit, that's something that matters to, so you have to go get a designer suit. No. They probably, that designer suit, it didn't even matter to them as they were purchasing it. It was just something that they looked for. But for you, it's going to be a major investment. You'll find yourself in debt simply because you're trying to keep up with the proverbial Joneses or the Kamaus
or the Kardashians. Keeping up with the Kardashians. Yeah. All right. So how do I come up with charting my own financial journey? Because what we're talking about here is not being influenced by what the Joneses and the Kardashians are doing to chart our journey.
Well, first off, start off with what matters to you. What truly matters to you? Because you'll find that money in and of itself is not what matters. When you dig deep into what people are looking for, the kind of satisfaction they're looking for, in fact, if you see it, in fact, that's why you're seeing all this craziness that's going on in Kenya at the moment. Why are people fighting for your attention? It is for power, isn't it? So if you talk to the political class, money is a secondary affair. They're really looking for influence and power. So if that's what you're looking for, then think about, how do I gain influence with other people? If you dig deep and find out, like for me, one of the biggest motivating factors for me right now is my family. And I really want my children to have a better life than I have had. You know, that's the thing. My parents brought me up to this level. I want my children to go further, and the next generation like that. So that's an important motivational factor. Maybe for you, Michael, I think I know this because I've known you for some time. Travel is important to you. So I know that you like to go and see and experience new things, and not necessarily the fashionable one, the glitz and glam. I know you're the type of guy who will be happy to go the back route, rather than going down the highway.
Absolutely.
Just to see the new scenery that you have never experienced. So figure out what matters to you, and then chart your finances based on what matters to you. So for instance, for now, I have 2 small children that I'm taking care of, and I want them to go to a good university. So I'm beginning to do my investment now for a 2-year-old and a 2-week-old. We as a family are already beginning to invest for their university education, which is 16 and 18 years away. You see, that's influencing the way I'm putting my money aside right now. That somebody who doesn't have children, you see, it doesn't matter to them. And so it must be based on what matters to you.
How important is it for me to begin that journey now? Because the thing is, here you are now talking about your children, who I know one of them is very young. Is it, 3-4 weeks?
Now we are 3 weeks. Sorry,
3
I said
weeks.
2 weeks. 3 weeks now. Yeah.
3 weeks. But you're already thinking about their education, which is literally long-term planning. When it comes to finances, how important is long-term planning? Because we have a habit, let me call it, of doing things as and when they're needed.
Yes. And what happens, in fact, that is the reason that we started this whole year discussing this issue of January, is because when December comes, we tend to spend, and then we are unable to handle the next month. But imagine now that's just one December. Imagine getting to university where you're now talking about millions of shillings. That's what you're finding out. Somebody is going to have to borrow in order to achieve that dream. And if you're taking loans on education and other such things, you find yourself in a bigger hole. Why not be prepared and help your children take that next step without having to borrow? I'm not saying that loans are bad. Loans are good, especially when they're associated with an asset. You see, because an asset is bringing in income, it's growing in terms of the value of that, and it's protecting your capital. That's what an asset is. But when you take a loan simply for these things, for spending, for consuming, and even education, recurrent consumption, when you do that, then you're finding that you're going to be continuously having to dig from that hole, and to get out of that hole will be very difficult. So why not plan now? And you would be shocked at how much easier it is to begin planning long term, because it's small amounts. I mean, we did the calculation now, and it's about 400 shillings a day for my children's education. That's how you look at it. 400 shillings a day, about 12,000 shillings a month, about 150K a year. When we've done the calculation so that by the time they are reaching their 18th birthday, we will have the cash ready and not have to borrow and not have to go to various places to do so. So the importance is that, and this is a major class that we teach at Centonomy, is time value of money. The one resource that we all share and can never get back is time. We must begin to put ourselves in the point of view that time is not redeemable. If it's gone, it is gone.
I call it a non-renewable resource.
Thank you very much.
And it is not coming back. It is a non-renewable resource.
So why not use it to your advantage? The longer time that you have, the smaller the investments you have to make over that period.
Are these things, Waithaka, things that we can be educated about, or are they things that come naturally? We tend to feel and think that people who are financially wealthy or financially free are people who possibly by a streak of luck, have gotten there. Are these things that we can be taught?
That is why we are in business as Centonomy. We teach on a regular basis. These are the principles of wealth creation. You will find, and there's global research on this, especially, with this fad now about gambling, especially in Kenya. Globally, you'll find that less than 2% of those who actually make massive winnings actually retain it. Why? Because they have not built the skills, they have not built the discipline to be able to maintain that cash. So they just become a funnel for the money to just disappear.
Get to other places.
So what we're talking about are principles of wealth creation that we have studied from those who have created wealth. And it is usually discipline over a lifetime. So that when that big deal comes, they have built the discipline to be able to maintain it. So that it is no longer just a stroke of luck. No, 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 no. You will find that those who have succeeded when we think it is a stroke of luck is that they have been building the discipline, and when opportunity comes, it's a perfect match.
All right, Waithaka, time is up.
No problem.
If somebody wanted to get these courses, where do I get them? How do I reach Centonomy?
Please check us out on centonomy.com. Centonomy.com. We're also available on all the other social media that is available, YouTube, on Twitter at Centonomy, and you'll get all the information that you would like there. Our website is probably the best place to go because it has all the various options that are present.
Thank you very much, Waithaka Gatumia from Centonomy. And like we said in the media, it's a wrap. By the way, do you know why they say it's a wrap?
I have no idea.
Apparently, equipment used to come wrapped in some kind of canvas.
Oh, really?
So whenever they would finish the production, they would literally just wrap it up in canvas. So that's exactly what we're doing right here on Morning Express. It's a wrap. Have yourselves a wonderful day. But do stand by right here on KTN News. We've got Worldview coming up in just a bit.